At receiver, I know it's been talked about a lot. 17 players on the roster to start. How many ultimately do you want to see in the mix?
It's probably going to be no more than 8. I mean, there'll be probably 4 outside receivers, and there'll probably be 3 to 4 inside receivers. That's the way it's always been. I don't know if it'll ever be more than that. You know, so I mean, that kind of leads into what I was talking about before. Is that we're sitting here repping a whole lot of guys. And so, you know, we need to start really fine-tuning on who we're repping, and now's the time. I mean, it's getting to be the point where we've already rep. I mean, the patience level that I talked about at the beginning of camp till now with new guys, that patience level is getting thinner because, I mean, at this point, with what we do offensively, you should know what to do.
Does that apply the same at quarterback as well?
I mean, maybe not the same as quarterback because, I mean, a receiver and quarterback are different. I mean, you know, you're worried about what you're going to do. And we really limit each position on what they're going to do. And so quarterback's different because the level of reps that those guys have had different. I mean, Paul's had 2 years of reps, Ford's had a year and a half or so of reps, and Clint's had 10 practices. And so, I mean, I think it's a little different.
Do these receivers learn in a way that if you needed one to go to slot from wide out to, you know, and back and forth, that they'd be able to do that, or do you want to keep them, if you're a wide receiver, you stay out wide or you stay in close?
Ultimately, when we get down to who we're going to play in a game, we're going to have the 4 best receivers in the field. And so it's going to get that point here pretty quick. And so and like the question he asked me, I mean, and we've done it in the past. I mean, we did it with JD one time. We moved him in there to 8. I mean, if you're our 3rd best outside receiver, but you're one of our best receivers all around, then we'll move you inside and dump reps into you and get you ready. But I mean, it'll have to be a guy that mentally we know can handle it. You know, there's some guys that need to be put at one spot and that's it. And there's some guys where you say, well, you know, that kid, talking to him and watching him, he probably has the mental capacity to move around a little bit. And so, you know, those decisions are going to be made here to the end of the week. You know, and if there is one of those guys, then we don't have a problem moving outside to inside, but we have to do it at this point because, I mean, you don't want to do it too late to where the guy isn't given a fair opportunity to learn it and do whatever. But he has to have the mental capacity to do it, which I think we have a couple outside guys that do. But I want to make sure that the inside receivers we have a lot of them, you know, and I think that we're just dumping way too many reps throughout the whole group. I think if a couple of those guys got the majority of the reps, and obviously they'll pick it up a little quicker.
Next question.
Can you have too much of a good thing? And by having so many
we
options
don't.
that you
I
don't.
promise you, we don't. Don't worry about that. We don't.
How about at running back?
Different beliefs.
I mean, I think that we're talented at running back, you know, there's no doubt, but it's not like they go out there and do everything perfect every day either, you know. And so running back is a physical position too. It's probably the most physical position on the field. And so you need more numbers at running back than you do at any receiver position. I mean, you can have a receiver that plays the whole year. I mean, running backs they got to pick up blitzes. They got to get hit every play. They got to run in between tackles. We're asking them to do things that we never asked receivers to do. Although we want our receivers to be physical, and some of them are. But our inside receivers, I mean, they, you know, at times they don't even need shoulder pads out there the way they block.
In terms of running back, how about Charles Sims? How has he continued to fit in?
He's the same person every day. He's probably the most consistent guy we have out there as far as coming out there, keeping his mouth shut, giving maximum effort. I mean, the guy's he's just truly a good player, good kid. And I mean, if I was those young kids around him, I would watch him go through every drill in practice and watch everything that he does and try to emulate him as close as I could.
Is there any learning curve for him at all with the offense? Because it was
he's just been. I mean, no, because I mean. He's been with Dana. I mean, he's been in very similar offenses. Now, there are a few things we do here that he didn't. But with a kid, I mean, with a kid that talented, typically, he's not a very high rep guy. I mean, you could probably put him at inside receiver right now, and he would do things better than the guys we're doing. That's just the honesty of it. And that's more of the inside receiver's fault than his. They've had maximum opportunities and reps to do it right. They're just lazy and they won't do it, so whatever. We'll find somebody that will.
Since they've been doing a really good job.
Who, the inside receiver?
With
if you guys have any eligibility left in here, y'all can probably go out and do better than most of them.
I'm an outside guy.
Yeah. Well.
with Sims, how? I mean, there's what he did at Houston, which I know is similar to what you guys like to do, but he was used pretty uniquely there, right?
Yeah.
Do you take a guy like that who has that ability and try to drop in here, or do you just take the player and put him in the offense and have him fit a specific role?
I mean, right now he's fitting a role. But what we do right now offensively and what we do week to week are different. Although the offense doesn't change, I mean, the way we utilize those parts are different. We're going to sit and game plan ways to get everybody that we're considered athletes or people that are great with the ball in their hand. We're going to sit there and scheme up ways to get those guys the ball within our offense. I mean, we're going to sit there and make sure he gets used in every way possible. And it's not just him. I mean, we have a few guys like that. And so, but what we're doing right now is we're just repping, trying to create a base of the offense. Now, once we get into week 1, week 2, week 3, and game plan and stuff, I mean, it'll be a whole different deal. It won't look much different, but I mean, obviously, if a kid needs the ball in his hand, I mean, it's no different than what we did with Tavon. We try to manipulate ways to get him the ball.